With everything going on, I want to give you a little bit of encouragement and also a couple cautions of some things that I am seeing happen a lot under the circumstances. One thing I have seen a number of times on social media and various forums and even a couple news media is concerns and worries that this is the end of the age, that the tribulation is about to come, that death and destruction are upon us. And I want to encourage you that yes, there are some things that may get bad with this as it progresses, and the numbers are probably going to get worse before they get better. This is not the tribulation come upon us. Revelation chapter 6 talks about the four horsemen, and you hear people talking about the pestilence and a disease that's going to strike so many down and being the signs of the tribulation. Well, there is one of the horsemen that is considered pestilence and death, but it's not the first one, and it's not the first sign, and there are other things that have to happen first. If you look at Revelation chapter 6, it talks about the horsemen of the apocalypse. And it mentions that the first one is a white horse that rides out to conquer. It's variously interpreted as the Antichrist or a world conqueror or somebody unifying the world. The second horse is a fiery red one. This is the horse of war. War is going to take over the earth and peace is going to be taken away. Okay, now if you notice, we don't have a one world government. We're not unified behind one leader. And you can just look at any leader and see that there's nobody that's got unity behind them. We certainly don't have world war going on. That's not happening. The third horse is famine. If you look at the scriptures in Revelation 6, it talks about them weighing out the food and exorbitant costs of it. Well, we don't have a world famine either. All three of these have to take place before pestilence. So this is not that horseman. Additionally, it doesn't say anywhere in scriptures that this great famine comes from China. I've heard people tell me that. It's just wrong. It's misreading. It's inaccurate. And it's a lot of people who either don't know the scripture or don't want to know that are teaching some just off-base things. And that actually leads me into my next point here. There's a lot of bad teaching, a lot of mistruths, a lot of fake news, a lot of just false facts that are out there making the round. A lot of it is being pushed by people who should know better and by people who don't. It's very frustrating because if you look at social media, it's just filled with mistruths and misleadings and inaccurate information. And sadly, a lot of it is coming from our religious leaders. I'm seeing ministers and good Christians just post some blatantly wrong information. I'm watching political leaders of both political parties just broadcasting wrong information. So with everything going on, please check the sources. Because a lot of it, very simply, is leading people astray. It's leading people to panic and fear and worry that they shouldn't have, but it's also leading them to not do things that they should. Matthew chapter 7, Jesus warns about this kind of thing. He says to watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. And there are people that are preying on the innocent with this. By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus by your fruit you will recognize them. Are they using facts to help people out, look for other people's greater good, or are they trying to profit themselves? Are they showing that they're honest and true and care about others, or are they fear-mongering? Look at the fruit. Look at what their roots are. Is their roots based in truth and fact, and not necessarily the facts that you want to hear, but the real, honest facts? Because one of the things that's happening right now is people are really getting hung up on what they want, the truth that they want, the message they want to hear, whether it's actually true or not. And especially at a time like this, we really need to be careful to make sure that we are listening and filling ourselves with what is really accurate and not propagating false information and lies. If we're leading people astray from things that will keep them safe and alive, we're a false prophet. If we're leading people into needless fear and worry, we are a false prophet. If we are leading people to trust in things other than God, we are a false prophet. If we are leading people to tempt God, we are a false prophet. We need to make sure that we are countered and balanced. This is a serious thing going on right now. It's nothing to shrug off. This is not a little case of the flu that will pass. This is a serious deal. Right now, as I record this, I know personally at least 7 people that are infected with it. 4 of which are in the hospital, 3 of those in critical condition, and waiting to see if all 3 are going to live or not. I'm honestly, I have a bad feeling we're going to lose at least 1 and maybe 2 of them. This is real, folks. It's not something to be glossed over, but at the same time, it is not the end of the world. God is going to carry us through it. God is not caught by surprise. So as you're out there with social media and other people, I encourage you, question everything. Question the sources. Question the truth. Question the reality. Is this really lining up with the people who know what they say? Look for people who actually have real credentials versus people who are trying to push an agenda. And in everything, trust God. If somebody is spitting out something that is going to lead you astray or to question what God is doing or his motives, stay away. If somebody is trying to lead you away from God, they're a false prophet. Keep yourself safe. Keep yourself informed with real facts. Don't be led astray by every tossing of the waves that's out there and every little conspiracy theory. And realize most of that is garbage. And instead cling to the one who has proven himself faithful and true, who will work all things together for the good of those who love him. Not always in the way that we want, but it will always work out towards good in the end if we love and trust him. That last part's a key there, but that's a whole nother message. Hold on to the truth with God, and he will take you through this time. He will provide. He will meet your needs. He will give you comfort and peace that passes understanding when you cling to him. God bless.